for Lewis Hamilton, the checkered flag will come in the nick of time.
Number 10. The closest F1 finish. Formula One viewers today are spoiled with advanced technology that intricately tracks and records timing down to 10,000ths of a second. Yet the final lap of the 1971 Italian Grand Prix, when timing could only be calculated down to 2 decimal places, boasts the closest F1 finish, with the top 5 finishers separated by just over half a second. Monza, pre-chicanes, was the fastest track on the 1971 schedule, and the record-breaking speeds meant the grueling race was plagued with engine-related retirements. So when a pack of unexpected leaders found themselves out front with less than 10 laps remaining, Peter Gethin gave it his all, racing out of the final corner to edge out the win by just 1/100th of a second. Number 9. A championship hunt in the wet. Formula One's Japanese debut is remembered for heavy race day rains, and the controversial decision to proceed with the race was met with severe protests from teams and drivers.
And they're off! Clouds are straight, James Hunt is edging into the lead.
Niki Lauda, who was set to complete his miraculous return from a near-fatal accident just 6 races earlier, retired after only 5 laps in the treacherous conditions, meaning James Hunt only had to finish 4th to win the title.
Lauda found the treacherous conditions too much and retired. The hero understandably reluctant to take risks so soon after the horror of the Nordschleife.
Hunt pushed his tires to the limit and charged to the lead, but was forced to pit when the track began to dry. Working from 5th, Hunt passed 2 cars in the last 3 laps to win the championship title by just 1 point, something he didn't realize until he stepped out of his car.
Give me a drink, give me a drink, give me a drink. Congratulations, James. Fantastic. Thank you. Did we really win?
Number 8. Hamilton's final lap tire failure. It's a familiar sight to see Lewis Hamilton rounding the final corner of his home race in first place, but at the 2020 British Grand Prix, visions of fireworks and popping champagne turned to clouds of sparks and popping Pirellis.
As once again we see wheels coming loose, once again we see the safety car.
Yeah, right rear tyre puncture.
With just a few laps to go, the Mercedes garage held their breath when Valtteri Bottas dropped off the pace with a puncture, and all eyes were on race leader Hamilton. Just when it seemed that Max Verstappen, who had stopped for a fresh set of tires, would settle for 2nd place, Hamilton's tire blew out on the final lap.
But look at the state of that Mercedes car! He's going through Maggots and Beckett's at the moment. Hamilton's tire's gone.
Verstappen was rapidly gaining on the limping leader, but Hamilton managed to wrestle his Mercedes across the line with just 3 good tires to claim the victory.
But for Lewis Hamilton, the checkered flag will come in the nick of time for a 7th British Grand Prix victory and a record!
Number 7. Brabham's push to the finish line. Entering the final race of the season, Jack Brabham, Sterling Moss, and Tony Brooks were all in contention for the championship title.
By December, Jack Brabham is the leader in the World Drivers' Championship, and the United States Grand Prix at Sebring is the final race of the series.
However, when Moss retired early with a gearbox issue and Brooks dropped down the order after a teammate collision, Brabham just had to finish the race. With the title in his sights, Brabham's car ran out of fuel on the final straight.
In the last lap, less than half a mile to go, Brabham runs out of petrol.
Drivers blew by to take the podium positions, but the rest of the field were still laps down. Brabham buckled down, knowing he just had to take the checkered flag without any help, and pushed his car across the line to finish 4th and win the title.
In an atmosphere of great excitement, Jack Brabham pushes his car across the line in 4th place to become the first Australian ever to win the World Championship.
Number 6. Schumacher versus Hill. Damon Hill entered the final race of the season just 1 point behind rival Michael Schumacher.
Going into the last race with 1 point deficit to Michael is always going to be, unfortunately, putting you in the position where you've got everything to lose.
Schumacher took an early lead while Hill, running in 2nd, fell back. That is, until Schumacher brushed the wall and Hill took his chance, driving down the inside. Schumacher turned in on his rival and was knocked out of the race on 2 wheels, but Hill's damaged suspension ruined his chance of winning the title. Many claim Schumacher hit Hill on purpose, a sentiment that would be reinforced when Schumacher was later disqualified for hitting rival Jacques Villeneuve in 1997.
Over him, look, he's going through. Oh, yes. Help! I don't think. Help goes Michael Schumacher. That didn't work.
While Schumacher is considered an F1 great, his first championship title was not without the drama that would follow him for the rest of his racing career. Number 5. Collins hands over his car. Nicknamed El Maestro, or the Master, Juan Manuel Fangio was well on his way to his 4th series title heading into the final race of the 1956 season. Ferrari teammate Peter Collins and rival Jean Bérat could claim the title if they won, and Fangio finished with no points. However, when Bérat retired and Fangio's car suffered a broken steering arm, Collins was primed to take it all. Ferrari ordered Luigi Musso to give his car to his championship-leading teammate, but Musso ignored the call.
During a short rain shower, Musso pitted his Ferrari, but refused to hand it over to Fangio.
In a shocking act of sportsmanship, Collins forfeited his chance at the title when he came into the pits, saw his teammates sitting out, and offered Fangio his own car for the final title-winning 15 laps.
It was then that Collins made his very sporting gesture and sent Fangio away in his car, which was okay, while Fangio's had steering trouble.
Number 4. Arnoux versus Villeneuve. Considered by many to be the greatest battle in Formula One history, it's hard to believe René Arnoux and Gilles Villeneuve's famous Dijon fight was actually for second place.
René Arnoux is challenging for second as they come up to Villeroy, but Villeneuve will not give way.
The drivers swapped positions back and forth over the final few laps in a stunning display of pure nerve and determination, coupled with perfectly precise racing skill. Arnoux entered the last lap in front as the French crowd roared, but Villeneuve passed Arnoux into the first turn.
Villeneuve stood on everything, locked up his tyres, got the line, and he's back into second position on the last lap but one, and the French crowd aren't very happy about that, and who can blame them?
When Arnoux attempted to fight back, the two touched wheels, sending Villeneuve off the racing line, making contact 3 times. They headed into the final corner of the track 2 abreast, until Villeneuve pulled ahead to win the position by just 0.24 seconds.
And Villeneuve is second.
Number 3. Senna versus Prost. Suzuka, 1989. The boiling point in Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost's legendary rivalry remains a controversial debate to this day. Prost led the championship and the race, but 6 laps from the finish, Senna fought to pull alongside his rival. Neither driver would heed the position. Prost closed the door, and the teammates collided.
This is the opportunity that Senna's looking for, and he's going through. Ouch! Oh my goodness, this is fantastic!
Prost assumed he'd won the championship, and even though Senna restarted his car and finished the race, the Brazilian was later disqualified for improperly rejoining the track.
Senna has got going again. He's back on the track, but he will for sure be disqualified for receiving a push start.
The controversy nearly caused Senna to quit the sport, and the rage would build to Suzuka the following season when Senna refused to yield into the opening corner and crashed into Prost with vicious intent motivated by the previous year.
Alain Prost has taken the advantage. Senna is trying to go through on the inside, and it's happened immediately. This is amazing. Senna goes off at the first corner, but what has happened to Prost? He has gone off too.
Number 2. Hamilton's miraculous final sector. Martin Brundle's iconic "Is That Glock?" echoed the disbelief of everyone watching the 2008 title-deciding finale. Lewis Hamilton was just 7 points ahead of Felipe Massa, but Massa led the race while Hamilton soon fell back after complications.
Oh my goodness me! Vettel's taken the place, and that could cost Hamilton the World Championship!
With 8 laps to go, it began to rain, forcing the frontrunners to pit for wet tires, except for Timo Glock. After running wide, Hamilton was still in 6th place when Massa crossed the finish line in 1st.
Now he comes through to claim his 6th victory of the season. He has done everything he needed to do, and we wait now to find out who will be the world champion of 2008.
The title looked to be Massa's, but Glock had lost all grip. In the final bend, Hamilton took back 5th place to win his first title by an unbelievably close margin.
Ferrari are wrong. They're absolutely wrong. Hamilton's
guys.
finished 5th. You will never see a more dramatic conclusion to any motor race, let alone a Grand Prix, than that. And the result of it all is that Lewis Hamilton is the world champion.
In a last lap sentiment that would take on an entirely different meaning in 2021, Hamilton was rendered speechless. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Grosjean's fiery crash, the Frenchman's 28-second escape from death.
Yeah.
Just the car.
It's gone through the barrier, you see. The car's gone through the barrier.
Surtees wins the title, a British trio's last lap showdown.
The thrilling finish meant John Surtees had won the title by a single point from Hill, the first and only time a motorcycle world champion also won the Formula One title.
Niki Lauda's comeback. Lauda's ghostly but unbelievable act of bravery.
He made a startling comeback at the Italian Grand Prix, finishing 4th and somehow keeping his World Championship hopes alive.
Mansell's tire blowout. A near champion's title hopes dashed in an instant.
They have been prepared to move over. And look at that! And colossally, that's Mansell!
Fangio flat out. El Maestro's famous drive to victory.
And Fangio takes the checkered flag to win the German Grand Prix.
Number 1, the 2021 championship decider. While the aftermath of the 2021 season has seen controversial speculations fly about the finale feeling a little too similar to a Hollywood script, the rivalry between 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton and young up-and-comer Max Verstappen was action-packed up until the very last lap.
Will there be any more racing laps? If there are, then Verstappen has got the tyres to really do something with them.
When a late crash led to a safety car, Hamilton maintained his lead while Verstappen pitted, placing several lapped cars between the rivals. However, in a last-minute reversal, lapped cars were let past the safety car, leveling the leaders with one final green flag lap to race.
It has left Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen side by side. Hamilton will be ahead. Verstappen is absolutely desperate to get on with this on that soft compound tyre. We're going to have one lap of racing to decide the championship.
Verstappen, on newer tyres, passed Hamilton. And while Hamilton fought up to the very last corner, Verstappen would emerge victorious to win his first championship title.
But the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021. Max Verstappen, for the first time ever, is champion of the world.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.